Welcome, folks. I'm Jaby Koay, joined by Achara Kirk.
What's up?
We're looking at Spiral Trailer for Movie Clips Trailers, the YouTube channel. Just as a full disclosure, I am not super into horror films. We did see one of the Saw films, the most recent one before this.
Jigsaw.
And Achara enjoys a horror film or two once a year or something. Spiral Trailer.
What an ominous box. That is
Chris Rock.
That is Chris Rock. Oy. I don't know, I see a box and I think 7.
Play me.
Yeah, because that's...
Hello, Detective Banks. Do you know where your officers are?
What the hell?
Jigsaw? Wait, I thought the Jigsaw killer was dead.
He is. Hang him. They're hours, not days.
How could I catch this guy? If there's nobody on the force, I can trust!
You can't do this alone.
Whoever did this has another motive. Something personal.
When was the last time you saw your father?
What?
Jigsaw copycat. This is gonna go sideways fast.
All available units, officer down.
That was just a diversion to get us out of the precinct! I need everyone on this case! He could be anywhere. He could be anyone. We're gonna tear this city apart.
Hello, Detective Banks. When was the last time you saw your father?
No!
So, Chris Rock. I like Chris Rock. I don't know how I feel about Chris Rock in this particular instance, because I haven't seen him in this kind of a performance before. So
Yeah.
It's not like excitement. It's not negativity. It's like, Curiosity, cautiously optimistic. I'd like to see how that goes. It does draw me in a little bit to see Chris Rock in a different kind of role. That is a compelling reason for me to, I'm like I said, I have an aversion to horror films. I just don't watch them in general. But because Chris Rock is trying something different, I'm like, maybe I'll check it out. That could be fun because it's him doing something that I'm not used to seeing him do.
Well, I think it's interesting because, you know, straight off the bat, you see executive produced by Chris Rock.
Right.
So you know for sure that this is something that he really wanted to do. Like, he put his name and his money behind it. And maybe it is a case of what we've been talking about in some of our other trailer reactions, like in yesterday's one with Josh Hartnett, where it's like, you know, maybe he's just kind of sick of being the funny guy and he just wants to do drama. And who knows, maybe he's a huge fan of the Saw franchise and was like, I would love to be in a Saw movie. It's interesting though, because I liked that they didn't show too much of the gory stuff,
Okay.
but you definitely know it's there. But just the way that they shot the trailer, it seemed to be more of like
Edited trailer. But yes.
Oh yes, that's right. Sorry, they didn't shoot a trailer. They shot a movie and they edited the trailer.
Yeah, we know what you mean. I'm just being persnickety.
The way that they made the trailer, it just kind of came across as more of like a thriller.
Psychological thriller?
Yeah, like a psychological thriller. It was kind of giving me that sort of vibe. Or even like when he opened up the box, it just reminded me of Seven.
Right.
So like those kind of thrillers from the 90s, early 2000s.
I feel like if it's a Saw-related film, it has to have a certain degree of violence in order to appeal to the audience that is built in. I personally am more of a fan of psychological thrillers. I mean, scary or not. Like, I don't mind a scary film as long as it's more focused on the scary elements rather than the gory elements. If you get into my head and freak me out, that's more frightening than just showing me a bunch of blood and guts.
That's the thing that's always fascinated me about the Saw movies, particularly like maybe the first one. Because when it first came out, I was intrigued by the idea of like giving people a choice to be like thinking about everyone else versus thinking about yourself. What would people do? I think that's a valid and interesting question. I just never watched them because I'm very, very squeamish and I didn't know if I would be able to sit through a whole movie. Although I have thought about like what would happen if we did like a watch along or something.
But the thing about it is, that's all well and good if there's an actual choice involved, but it feels like all roads lead to Rome, Rome being you're gonna get killed.
No.
If you just choose yourself, for instance, and you do the selfish thing, it's not like then everyone else dies. You get killed and they live on, it seems like, is what often happens in these kinds of films.
Well, I thought that in the Saw movies, it's like you're given an option, right? Like you're handcuffed to whatever, like that part where Chris Rock sees the saw, right? It's like you can saw your arm off and you survive or something, or I forget what it is, or like everyone dies because you don't want to saw your arm off. If you saw your arm off, you can save everyone.
But like my question is, what would have happened if he decided to not saw his arm off and let everyone else die?
Everyone would die.
Would they?
Yeah, they would.
It's a game, though.
I'm speaking from a place of ignorance, but I like the concept.
Exactly. That's both of us. We're both speaking from a place of ignorance. I just feel like when you have a character like that, someone who's pulling the strings and whatnot, when he gives a character an option to kill everyone in order to save himself, it's a false setup.
Okay,
that's all I'm getting at. It's not a real setup. It's not like if he chooses to kill everyone else off and keep his arm, he's actually gonna get to keep his arm and walk away. What's gonna happen is that Saw person's probably just gonna kill him off and say, oh,
No, you don't get to live.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like die or cut your damn thing off and save everyone, as well as yourself. Maybe I'm getting the concept wrong. That's kind of what I thought it was.
Anyway, we've been going on about that for too long. Samuel L. Jackson's always fun to watch.
I was just kind of really drawn into all of the drama of it, especially at the end when it's like, no, you've got Samuel L. Don't hurt the dad.
Don't hurt Samuel Jackson.
Don't hurt Samuel Jackson.
The editing in this trailer was very, very, very curious in itself. You kind of mentioned that earlier, in so far as it wasn't shoving gore down your throat, but it also wasn't conveyed in the usual kind of way. Like, it still sort of had that build-up in the last third of it, like you typically see in trailers these days. They kind of were selling you on this movie point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't done in a way that you have that loud crescendo of music that you typically get. It was more creepy and quiet, which is what I feel like good horror movies usually do. It's not so loud and in your face, it's more of that getting under your skin sort of feeling.
Yeah.
And kind of sneaking up on you. And I think that's what this trailer did a good job of. It's kind of playing that piano note over and over again, that simple high note.
I was enjoying the vibe.
Yep.
Certainly interesting. I don't know if I have the guts to watch it.
Anyway.
It's pretty scary.
You guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed some of that. I am Jaby Koay. This is
Achara Kirk.
Peace out.